right, everybody, welcome back to the Groundsman, where you will find everything on school cricket, where the kids are going, how the guys are doing. We cover all the weekend reviews during the season coming up. Again, we continue with our series for the Coach's Corner. We've got a fantastic coach from St. John's, Coach Junior Mhlanga. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you. We had another coach from St. John's the other day, and I think some of the insights that we're getting from you guys is really fantastic. And I think parents that are looking for good cricketing programs coupled with sort of a holistic approach around bringing up a young man, I think you guys are giving us great insights. I think we'll jump straight into the first question, which is essentially, what should players be focusing on leading up to the new season?
I think, firstly, I'd like to thank you for having me on the show. For players now, in my view, I think they should be looking to just getting back into the stride of things. Considering there's been a really long off because of COVID and all the ups and downs of being able to get access to sporting facilities and that. So I think the main concern should be getting themselves mentally back into the thinking of the game, into the preparation of what they need to be focusing on, as well as reconditioning the body into getting back into an active cycle, making sure that we pay a lot of attention to managing injuries and not putting ourselves and our athletes in a situation where they're prone to get injuries because of the long off.
Yeah, and then I mean oh man, that is critical. Now that you mention it, to trying to get back too fast or being sort of thrown into the thick of things too quickly, again, that compromises you throughout the season, and that's fantastic. And I guess it leads us then to our next question, which is, what's that one principle that you value most in a player? One or two?
One or two. I think the first one for me is dedication. I think you have to be a very strong-willed individual to be able to withstand what cricket brings with all the formats. So I think the first one for me would definitely be dedication. The second one, I think you have to, in somewhat, be a team player. So your ability to be selfless becomes very critical for me as a coach. Cricket is a very influx game, so your ability to not just think of yourself in every single instant and phase of the game becomes very critical for me.
That's fantastic. I think guys that people that don't play cricket don't necessarily understand the dynamic that cricket is an individual team sport, right? So there's an element where you look after yourself as an individual player and your skill set and what you contribute. And then the other side is how well do you work with the guys around you? Do you cover the throw? Do you keep an eye on the guy drifting on the boundary? that's just bowled 5 overs and he's just tired, So it's actually fantastic that you mention it. And I think then it leads us then to our third question, which is, we've mentioned guys have had sort of the stop-start at the beginning of the year and they've had the break now. What are some of the drills that you would recommend guys be doing at home just in preparation of the season coming?
I think for me, whether you classify yourself as one or the other or an all-rounder, I think the main thing is to get yourself back into the stride of things. So it's basic, depending on your age, but I find that's very important where it's a cricket ball and a cricket bat, just getting back into the basic shot strategies, making sure that you get used to, okay, this is how I'm playing my shots. This is where I want to be making contact. So just a wall with the ball, tennis ball does it very well because it challenges you as well. The distances from the wall you can measure up depending on what you want to be doing. If you're a bowler, also just making sure you're getting your action back into the rhythm of things. So starting off from, I just want to be standing and just making sure I hit a specific target. So it can be in the backyard or it can be also once again against the wall. And then going into a shorter run up and just making sure you get your lengths right, or you get your targeting correct, and then also just getting the body into um, the rhythm. So just making sure you do some cardio and some of that would be some of the things I would say you could do at home just to get yourself back into it and ease into it.
Yeah, that's fantastic because I guess at this time in sort of a player's career, I can't imagine as a player back then having to figure out my life and my parents and schoolwork and Zoom sessions, and then also
Yeah,
weave in sort of the cricketing schedule as well to make sure that I'm still at the level in which I need to be in order to make a provincial side or potentially make SA schools or Colts coming up. So I think those are fantastic skills, and obviously, guys, I think you should um, be a little easier on yourself, like they say. Time in the middle, right? Time in the middle is what's
yeah.
gonna then sort of get you to move from those individual skills to being game ready. So I think that's absolutely fantastic, and I think it then leads us to the next question for some of those elite players that are looking to make a career out of this thing. What are some sort of what's the one sort of common quality that you've seen the elite players that have come through your hands or have come through your guys' program? What's that one quality you've seen them have in order to sort of make that jump to national or provincial level?
Um, for me, I think consistency, and I think it's necessary to break it down because it really speaks to the kind of player that is then able to then break through into those international provincial setups, and it stems from it's not so much as how many 50s you get or how many wickets you take. It's the coming of being able to consistently make a representation whenever you're out in the field. So if I'm a coach and I'm requiring you to come out and bowl 10 overs and make sure that you keep your average down and you make sure that our economy rate is understandable, that I think speaks to the player. If you're a batsman and you're consistently coming out there and making a stand, sometimes getting the 50 isn't the issue. Sometimes sticking around is what is needed. Sometimes rotating the strike is what is necessary. Sometimes actually relinquishing the strike is what is necessary. So it's those elements of consistency that speak to the player that has been able to pass through and then move on and keep going. Because then as you get going, as you break through, you begin to specialize even further. And then that consistency becomes even more critical because now you have to be consistent in your speciality. And that then speaks to how progressive you are in that state.
That's some great advice. Great advice. So, any of you young players looking to take your career to the next level, looking to make a career and a life out of this beautiful game that we love, there it is. I think discipline, consistency, performing at that level consistently over time is often what separates sort of the guy trying to get to that level and the guys at that level. So, thank you so much, Coach. We really appreciate you. Moms, dads, players, if you're looking for a great program, cricketing program, we've got Coach Mhlanga from St. John's giving us some insights there. We really appreciate you. Coach from the Groundsman, thank you so much.